So we will go ahead and just take your time and get into a comfortable position so that we can do a little bit of breath meditation work. So your choice, it can either be in a seated position if that feels better to you, or my preference is always on the back body, but completely up to you, whatever feels best. So I'm going to come onto the back body though. I like to use a bolster or a pillow just underneath the head, and then allow the shoulders though to come onto the earth and the head to be elevated. Just gives a little extra something. And lengthen out through the spine. And then just relax, but up to you. You can stay seated if that feels good to you, maybe having a cushion underneath the rump. Totally up to you. And let the palms face the sky, whether you're seated or reclined. And just begin to notice how you arrive on your mat this morning, just how the body is. And the physical body, if you have any tension that you're holding on to. Just do a little scan all the way from the crown of the head down to the toes. Just gonna check in with the physical body. And as we do this, let's begin to deepen the breath. So bring the breath in through the nose, into the belly, into the chest. Nice, big, full breath into the belly. Feel that chest rise and lips remain sealed. Just exhale through the nose. Let it go. Then begin to make a sound as you're exhaling, kind of like you were fogging a mirror, but your lips remain sealed. So nice full breath into the nose. Feel the belly and chest rise. And even slower, exhale through the nose. Let that breath become audible. Let it go. Very nice. Any tension in the body, just envision that breath moving there. Send the breath into that tension, whether it's sore quads, whether it's a tight back, wherever that tension might be. Envision the breath moving there. And as you exhale, just envision it softening, envision it letting go. And as we move through the poses in our practice, just we utilize kind of the same technique with the breath. So let's take our attention from the physical body to the mind. Just notice where the mind is this morning, any tension that we're holding on to in the mind. The mind and heart, what are we holding on to? Where is the mind moving to? See if we can send the breath there. Envision the breath wrapping around whatever it is the mind is holding on to. And as you exhale, just envision it leaving the body. Envision it lifting up and away, kind of like a balloon just sailing up overhead and creating space. It's creating a blank canvas for us this morning. Just allowing us to be in the now, right here. As we move through the practice and even just into the day, you'll find the mind obviously moving from past to future and all over the place. And once you notice that, just bring the breath back there. Bring the breath back to the mind, and the mind back to the breath. And just be here now. Couple more breaths. Maybe just set an intention for your practice. Be a word or a phrase that brings peace to the mind. Something you can come back to. Could just be the word breathe. That's always a nice one. And then when you're ready, begin to find some movement into the hands and into the feet. If you're seated, come to a reclined position so we can all take a nice full body stretch. Just roll the wrists, roll the palms, the feet, spread the fingers out, and eventually interlace the hands. Take a nice full body stretch. Flip those hands up and overhead, and then roll the wrists. I'm going to move the bolster out from underneath my head. I'm just going to scoot it away. I'm going to bring the arms down into a goal post or a cactus pose, you could say. Back of the hands on the earth, palms still facing up towards the sky. And then I'm going to bend through the knees. Bend through the knees, lift up with the hips just a little bit, and then place the hips back down on the earth, nice and long through the spine, nice and long. And then just gently windshield wiper those knees back and forth. Just take your time. Nice windshield wipering with the knees. Just breathe. And then pause, knees stay lifted. I'm going to reach the hands just behind me again, and then pull the knees in towards the chest. Just give yourself a nice hug. Just a little gentle rock back and forth. And let's open up the arms out to a T this time. And let the knees just fall over towards the right. Let the knees fall over towards the right. I'm going to take my ponytail out. If you've got something uncomfortable like that, just take a moment and adjust it. So let the knees fall over towards the right. Arms are over to a T. Maybe take the gaze out over towards the left. Just breathe. Envision the breath traveling all the way down the spine. Let it go. Let it all go. Left shoulder gets nice and heavy. Take another breath in. We'll move the knees up through center. Little gentle rock back and forth. And let the knees fall over towards the left. Gaze can either stay to the sky or let the gaze come out to the right. Maybe roll the wrist a few times. Spread the fingers out. And again, just do what feels right to you. So if the twists are not feeling good today, don't have to go into the twist. Just maybe even if you spend the entire class just on the back body, just breathing, that is okay. It's your practice. Just go with what feels right. Take a nice full breath in and breathe. Let's bring the knees up through center. Just lift those legs up towards the sky. Lift them on up. And let's just pedal the feet out a little bit. So take your time. Just move with what feels good to you. And let the breath guide it. Send the breath into any tension. And then drop those feet down. Grasp onto the toes or maybe the backs of the legs. Happy baby pose when you're ready. Just take your time. Let the shoulders get nice and heavy in your happy baby pose. And eventually just pull those feet back together. Lift the feet up towards the sky one more time. We'll put a little bend into the knees. And your choice, you can either rock. You can rock a couple of times on the back body, or you can roll over to the side body and push your way up to a seated position. So if you've got any kind of like bulging disc issues or anything like that, I do not recommend the rocking on the back. Just go with what feels okay, but be mindful of that. That is definitely not a comfortable thing to do if that is actively happening. So arriving on the seated body, that's Petey and Macy, by the way, in the background for anybody that's new to the class that's just joining us. Macy kind of blends in a little bit on the recliner there. So just go ahead and be seated. Just take a couple of breaths in your seated position. Envision the crown of the head lifting. And then you can, if it feels better to put a bolster or a pillow underneath you, go ahead and do that. Totally up to you. For me, it does. Totally up to you. So just a nice seated position, closing the eyes. Just feel a nice lift coming through the body. Take a full breath right here. Exhale, let it go. Blink the eyes open. Blink the eyes open. Just take a moment. Notice the seat. Just notice the moment. Notice the breath. And then when you're ready, just let's lift the hands up towards the sky again. We're going to interlace the fingers, flip the palms up towards the sky. Take a moment, take a little tilt over towards the right. And get that left seat in nice and heavy as we do this. And then up and over towards the left. Go ahead and release. Let's take a twist over towards the right. Put those little fingers into the earth. Roll that right shoulder up and back. Just gaze behind us. Full breath right here. Let it go. Unwind. Plant the left hand. Lift up with the right. Nice big side body stretch. Really push that right hip into the earth as we do this. And then bring it on down. Bring it on down. Lift up with the belly. Lift up with the heart. Let's take a tilt forward. Walk those hands forward. Go ahead and just let the head go. Just a nice loose leg here. Nice loose leg. What I mean by that is if you're sitting really tight and crisscross applesauce, just kind of let the legs just not be so tight. And then walk those hands up, walk the hands up. Nice, back into our seated position. And just roll the shoulders a couple times. Let's roll those shoulders up and back. Up and back. Change the direction. Let's go back. Just envision really exaggerating this movement. So envision the shoulder blades just parting away from one another. Kind of pull the belly in as we do this. Very nice. And then just drop the shoulders. Let's change the cross of the legs. Kind of fun. So it feels a little weird, a little different. Nice. It's fun to see some old friends on this one this morning. Ooh, nice. Lift the hands, lift the gaze, breathe in. Let's go ahead and just immediately take the twist over to the left this time. Roll that left shoulder up and back. Gaze behind us. Breathe. Let it go. One more big breath right here. And then gently unwind. Unwind it all. Let's plant that right hand this time and lift up with the left. Really plant that left hip into the earth. Feel a nice big side stretch happening. Go ahead, float it on down. Float it on down. Lift up with the heart, lift up with the chest. Exhale, nice forward fold. See if you can feel a little bit of a stretch coming through that hip. That hip of whichever foot is front. Just let the head completely go though here. See if we can get a little bit of a stretch to the spine as well. Let it all go. And then gently, one vertebrae at a time, roll things on up. Roll it on up. Let's give the neck a little bit of love right here. So just drop that right ear over towards the right shoulder. Let the left shoulder get nice and heavy. Maybe even drop the left hand down if that feels good. You can walk it back a little bit. If it really feels good, nice little nod here. You can just kind of do a yes motion, but go easy here, go easy. This is a big stretch on the neck. And then I'm going to bring the hand back onto my thigh and just roll the chin all the way over towards the left. A couple little half moons here. Let's just kind of roll the neck out, see what feels good. Maybe take it all the way around. Go easy though. Go easy. Make sure that the neck feels okay. And eventually, I'm just going to let it drop over towards the left. So left ear over towards the left shoulder. Very nice. Let that right shoulder get nice and heavy. Could even drop the right hand down. Maybe walk those fingertips back so you feel a nice bit of length coming right here. Breathe. I'm going to bring the hand back onto the thigh and then just nod a couple of yeses. Go real gently though. Make sure everything feels okay on the neck. If something doesn't feel right, back off from this. And then maybe just a couple of nice rolls again. Just roll it on out. Maybe just a couple of little half rolls. If it feels good in one little area, just maybe with the chin tucked down towards the chest, just pause there. And then roll it on up. Hair everywhere this morning. Okay, so let's reach the feet forward. Let's go ahead and reach the feet forward while we're seated. And then just a nice big inhale once again through the heart, through the chest. And then exhale, just gaze out towards in front of you. Gaze right out towards in front of you. So we feel a nice length coming through the back of the legs here to begin with. So the stretch really gets isolated to the legs here. And then once you're getting a nice stretch in through the back of the legs, you can go ahead and drop the gaze down towards the knees. And then you'll continue to get that nice length through the back of the legs, but you should also feel a little bit of a stretch through the spine. Feels so good. And then tucking the chin, just roll up one vertebrae at a time. Ooh, a little tingly in the feet on that one. And then I'm going to flip the feet behind me. Scoot the bolster out of the way. Let's just come up onto the hands and knees into our table pose. And you can put a cushion under the knees if that feels good. Totally up to you. But then just begin to find some movements. Lift the tailbone, lift the gaze, breathe in. Exhale, round it out. Use that audible breath as you exhale. That fogging a mirror with the lips sealed breath. Just move at your own pace. Move at your own pace with these cat cows. Let your breath be that music that moves the body this morning. One more nice big breath in. Lift the tailbone, lift the gaze. Exhale, round it out, sink all the way back into a child's pose. Now, child's pose is uncomfortable for you. You can always use a bolster. You can use it either as a pillow in front of you, or you can place it between the calves and the back of the thighs. So that's an option too. Or you can just come into your traditional child's pose. Just take a couple of breaths right here. Let the shoulder blades melt away from the spine. Big breaths. So when you breathe in, envision that breath parting the shoulder blades away. Feel it open up. Feel the back body completely open up, and exhale that nice whisper tone coming at the back of the throat, that ocean sounding breath. Couple times. Then we'll go ahead, we'll take a nice breath in and transition back up into table. And just move a bolster away from you. So back up into table, and then you can either stay right here in table if you'd like to. We'll have a couple of different options. Or let's all take a look at the hands for just a moment while we're right here. And notice how the hands are shaped to prepare to go into downward facing dog. So you can stay right here on table, and that's okay. But I usually like to have the hands just a little bit out like this. So kind of like you're almost looking at an L, but just it's one L's forward and one L's kind of backwards. But yeah, almost out a little bit so you can get a little bit of traction with the hands. You can feel those fingertips in there. Tuck the toes, push the chest back towards the thighs, a little bit of a bend into the elbows. Make your way back downward facing dog and just kind of shake the head out and tread one knee at a time and walk your dog out. So this is an option. If down dog isn't feeling good today, that's okay. You can stay right here on table. Same thing as with the hands. Keep the hands in that position and then just step back one foot at a time. So both are nice options for you. So wherever you're at, just begin to stretch those calves out, shake the head out. Just find some movement that works for you this morning. Maybe come onto the tippy toes, shake the hips out, anything at all. Anything that feels good. And then we'll come back onto the knees, back onto the hands and knees. And let's find some rolls with the hips. So some nice big circles with the hips. One direction, and then change the direction. Nice big circles. And then go ahead from table. We're going to just gently bring the chest all the way down onto the earth. Just kind of scooch the feet back so that we're all the way down on the belly. All the way down on the belly. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Just shake those hips back and forth a little bit. Shake them out. Shake them out. Let's slide the hands forward so that the elbows are just a little bit in front of the shoulders. Roll those shoulders up and back. Find a nice lift coming through the heart, through the chest. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Nice wide open palms here. And your Sphinx pose. Remember to breathe. Keep breathing. If it doesn't feel good through the low back, open up the feet. Otherwise, you can keep the legs sealed up. Just take a nice full breath right here. And then gently, we'll bring the chest back down. Just find a little cushion underneath the chin with the hands. Shake it out again. Shake it out again. And then bring the right ear just onto the palms. So, or the right cheek, right ear, so that you're kind of gazing out over towards the left. And then lift up with that left foot. Reach back. Take a grasp onto the top of the left foot. Get a nice stretch going through that left quadricep. And if you need to use a strap here, it's a great spot to use a strap or a tie, a dog leash, anything at all, if it feels better to do that. If for some reason you can't grasp onto the foot, which often happens, even sometimes just lifting the foot up is a great quadricep stretch here. So you don't even have to grasp onto the foot, but up to you. See what feels good. And then go ahead and release it. Just shake it out a little bit. Shake those hips out. And let's go to the opposite side. So left ear comes down onto the hands. Let's reach up with that right foot. Maybe the foot just stays lifted. Maybe that's all the quadricep stretch you need today. You can use a strap if you'd like to, or grasp onto the top of that foot. Get a nice stretch. Nice stretch. Just breathe. Bring it on down. Shake it out. Shake it out. Now, if you'd like to do both feet at the same time, that is an option right here. You can lift up the feet, grasp onto the tops of both feet. Then if you'd like to get really fun and creative, maybe grasp on just a little closer to the ankle. I'm going to flex into the feet and let the feet kind of lift me up a little bit. Feel the heart open, feel the chest open. Take a nice big breath. Bring the gaze up even a little bit. Kick into those feet. Oh, and then bring it on down. Just an option. Just an option. I'm going to keep the feet lifted, hands just underneath the chin. Then just shake it out a little bit like this. Shake it out. Now, while we're right here on the belly, let's go ahead. We'll bring the feet down. You still see me? Okay, yeah. Hands are going to come underneath the elbows. Nice little bit of a lift right here through the heart. And let's just dip one shoulder at a time. And dip it on down. Hair out the way. Nice. Nice stretch through the chest and through the back body and the shoulders here. This is serpent pose, one of my favorites. Especially if you're doing any sitting these days, all that fun stuff. So let's go ahead. We're going to make our way back through table. Back through table. I'm going to tuck the toes again. Your choice, though, totally optional. Down dog, or you can stay right here in table. But make your way up into that downward facing dog. Just shake the neck out maybe a little bit if you are in down dog, or even in table, just shake that neck out a little bit. And then we're all going to tiptoe from either table, just step up, or from down dog, tiptoe all the way up to the front of the mat and just find a nice forward fold. Nice forward fold. Just let the head go, let the hands go. You can grasp onto opposite elbows maybe for a moment. Might feel good. Long through that spine. Let it all go. You can keep a bend into the knees if that feels better. And then definitely put a bend into the knees. Push into the soles of the feet. Flat back. We're going to rise all the way up. All the way up. Gaze up towards the sky. Gaze up towards those hands. Hands are right back at heart center. And just pause here for a moment in your nice standing Tadasana position. Just stand, notice. Just gonna pull this hair back for a second. Notice the breath. Notice the difference in the body as you stand. Lift up the toes for just a very brief moment, just the toes, not the whole foot, but just the toes, and then place them back down onto the earth. Feel a lift coming through the soles of the feet. Feel a lift all the way through the crown of the head. Very nice, everyone. Blink the eyes open if they're closed. And let's lift the hands up towards the sky. Lift the hands up towards the sky. Let's interlace them once again. Interlace a nice little flip up. See if we can take a tilt over towards the right again. Just very gently here. Back to center, over towards the left. And bring it on back. Release those hands and let's take a forward fold, diving forward. Palms up towards the shins, lengthen through the back body. Exhale, forward fold once again. Little bend into the knees, rise all the way up, breathe it in. And exhale, hands to heart center. One more time. Lift, breathe it in. Exhale, forward fold. Palms towards the shins, lengthen. Exhale, fold it out. Little bend into the knees, rise all the way up, breathe. Exhale. Hands to heart center. We'll add on a little bit. So lift the hands, breathe it in. Exhale, forward fold, dive it out. Palms to the shins, lengthen through the back body, lengthen through the back of the legs. Exhale, fold it out, little bend into the knees. Let's step back with the left foot. So the right foot is gonna stay forward. Right foot's gonna stay forward. And then you can flip the mat maybe if you'd like to, so that you have a nice cushion underneath that left knee. So right foot stays forward, right knee and ankle are in line with one another. Find that low lunge. And then you can lift up if that feels good. You can bring the hands, whoops, onto the top of the thigh. Just take a moment here. If it feels good to lift the hands up, go ahead and do so and drop the shoulders. Just take a nice big breath right here. And exhale. Float the hands down. Sink back, lift up with those right toes. Lengthen through the heart, lengthen through the chest, look forward. Exhale, forward fold. Stay here for a full cycle of breath. One more nice breath in. And as you exhale, sink back down into that right foot. Tuck through the left toe, lift up with the left knee. And we're going to step all the way forward, back into that forward fold. Just pause here in your fold. Maybe rock it out for a moment. Maybe rock it out. Release the hands, nice little bend into the knees. Full inhale right here. This time we're going to step back with the right foot, so left foot remains forward. Maybe flip the mat, find some cushion for underneath that left knee. Sink down into your low lunge. Use some of that core strength. Lift up with the heart, lift up with the belly. Maybe lift up with the hands. Drop the shoulders, take a full breath right here. Exhale, float the hands down, sink back, lift up with the toe, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Take a full breath. Exhale, send that breath there. Any tension, let it go. One more breath. And let's exhale, sink back down into the knee, back down into the knee. Tuck through the right toe, lift up with the right knee. I'm gonna plant the hands, and this time I'm gonna step back into downward facing dog. You can step into table too if that's better, whichever one you'd like to be in. So a couple of options here. We're either gonna make our way into pigeon, or we can do a reclined pigeon. So a couple of options for those that are new today. Pigeon, we begin lifting that right leg and we bring the right knee up towards the right wrist. Squaring off through the hips. And you kind of scooch back like this a little bit. Use some props maybe and take a forward fold. So those pigeon lovers usually know who they are. I'll admit, no offense, Peter. Pigeon for me sometimes isn't my favorite. So another way you can take it which I recommend for those that it's not their favorite, is from the back body. And you cross the right foot over the top of the left thigh. Nice. Reach through, grasp onto the back of the left thigh. Beautiful. Feel that nice stretch coming through the hip. So your choice, wherever you're at, just enjoy it. Let's just take a few breaths. When you're ready, you can come out of it if it feels like you're getting a little, like you're done, but just breathe. So if you're on that reclined pigeon, I'm going to bring the left foot down to the earth and uncross the right, and then just windshield wiper it out a little bit. Now, if you're on the back body, so for those in the reclined pigeon, just keep windshield wipering it out. But if you're in regular pigeon, do both pigeons this morning. Just gently tuck through that left toe, lift up with the right foot, maybe stack the hip. Just come out of it in any way that feels good to you. Shake it out a little bit. Let's go to the opposite side. So for regular pigeon, lift up with that left foot. For those quadricep type people, this does feel pretty good. In the hip or bend the knee for a moment, get a nice big stretch, let gravity do the work there. And then bring that knee up towards the left wrist. Square off with the hips, forward, fold it out. So that's one option. Or if you're on the back body, crossing over that left foot on the right thigh, reach on through, grasp onto the back. Very nice, everybody. Very, very nice. You can flex through the bent kneed foot. Gives a little extra protection on the knee and a nice little added flex into the stretch. Just take a breath wherever you're at. If you're on the back body, just release that foot, release it out, just windshield wiper the knees out. And if you are in pigeon, go ahead, tuck through the toe, lift up with the knee, lift that left foot up to the sky, maybe roll the hip a couple of times. Bring it on down, shake the hips out a little bit. Shake it all out wherever you're at. And then we're all gonna meet on the back body. So take your time to get there. Very nice, everybody. Very, very nice. Take your time, get comfortable. Use any props you'd like. It's a little chilly this morning. Feel free to use a blanket if you'd like to. Anything at all, just get comfortable to prepare for your final pose, your savasana. And if there's any pose that the body is craving this morning, go ahead and take it. So maybe if you're just feeling like you want another happy baby pose, another twist, maybe, I don't know, something crazy that we didn't do, a handstand, anything at all. Your choice, just anything that feels good. Go ahead and listen to the body this morning. See what it's asking for. And enjoy that, whatever it might be. Whatever it might be. And then eventually, just take your time, get nice and comfortable. And we'll make our way into our final pose, our savasana. Nice and comfortable. The palms open to the sky. Let the eyes soften and close. Tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth. Let the breath go. Just let yourself completely be your savasana. And I will leave you in savasana this morning. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing everybody again next week. So good to see you. Thank you. Be well, everyone. Namaste.
Thank you, Summer. Have a wonderful week.
You too, Pat. Thank you. So good to see you, Jean. It was wonderful to see you, Patty. Thank you, you guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Take a little time in Savasana.
That was good. That felt
Thanks,
good.
guys.
Thank
I'll
you.
see you guys soon. Bye. I see doggies too. Bye, guys.